the original hearing on this was, the public hearing was closed at the last meeting. So the board at this time can, if they feel that they've heard the case appropriately and have been able to review the video as well and have no further questions, they can vote on the matter from prior, as well as if they have further questions or if they have wish to take additional testimony or something like that, they can also reopen the hearing at their discretion.
Is this a question if one of the board members has one?
Absolutely.
I have a question. What I would like to know is whether I can stipulate a relocation of a power pole that is on the north side of Silver Sun Drive. I want to know if I can request that of Tucson Electric Power.
If that's the board's condition for granting the variance, then that would be up to a board vote.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Lusk, this is Michael Marks. I do have one question as well, and it's a procedural one.
Sure.
When the hearing, and I use that word hearing kind of in a general sense, is opened, and I believe that is scheduled to take place at 1:30. We have one item on the agenda. Presumably this case will be announced by staff and then put in the hands of the board. We could announce that the public hearing portion of the case is over, it's closed, and then we can move right into discussion and or a motion. We could, if we choose, is that how we move forward? We just announce we're dealing with that case, but that the public hearing portion is already closed. Would that be the appropriate thing to say at the onset?
That is correct at this time.
Okay. All right. And let me ask staff, do we know whether we have 4 members who are present who were either present for the full extent of the hearing last month, or if not, availed themselves of the videos to review the gaps that were in the hearing that they missed? Are we aware whether that is the case?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Bruce Dawson. Yes, I was one of the members. I was the member that was absent during a portion of the meeting and the hearing on that particular case, and I did avail myself of all of the video and recordings. So I am completely up to date, and I would be glad to move forward without reopening the public hearing.
Very good. Very good to hear that. And I don't know whether this is the appropriate time to ask this question, but are there any other members of the board who were not present the full extent of the hearing last month and if there are they comfortable? Did they take action to review the videos and make sure that they were aware of all the testimony? Are there any other such members?
Mr. Marks, the only other member that was absent was Mr. Lugo, and he is not present today and will not be in attendance.
Oh, okay, very good. So that's good to hear all that. Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Bruce Dawson, I guess a question to Ruslan is, does that mean that any motion to approve or deny would require all members vote in the affirmative?
Yes, it will require a unanimous vote because we have the minimum necessary to form a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
Will we be hearing additional comments from the public today?
Board member.
Asking
Kubish,
anyone?
Sure, Board Member Kubish, this is Roy Lusk. As of now, the public hearing has been closed. So unless that public hearing is reopened, there are no further comments.
All right, thank you.
and this is a question for Mr. Lusk. This is Mike Marks. In the event that once the matter is open and one of the board members asks that the hearing be reopened or that the public hearing portion of the hearing be opened, does that have to be voted upon, or is that something that the chair takes action on himself?
That's a motion to be voted upon.
Okay, and so that would that have to be carried unanimously?
I believe that's a majority. I'm checking that now, though. I want to make sure I give you the correct information.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Bruce Dawson, are you anticipating somebody making such a motion to reopen the public?
No, I'm not. I'm just speculating on that eventuality as to what would take place at that point. But no, I have no reason to believe there would be a need for that.
Good. Thank you.
Roy, page 18 of the board rules indicates that the various types of votes that are necessary, and this falls under all other motions, which is a majority of yes votes.
Thank
So,
you, Russell. I appreciate that. I agree with that.
so that would mean 3 out of the 4. Is that correct?
Correct.
That is correct,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
And Ms. Wells, I have a technical question, and that is, does staff have control over the whose audio is open? And if in the event that there are members of the public, would they have a right to turn on or the ability to turn on their audios or videos and interject themselves into the hearing, even if we are beyond the public hearing portion?
Mr. Chair, this format that we have for Teams does allow for participants to turn on their microphone. However, we have staff available to turn it off.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Bless you, Ruslan.
There's kind of a pause here. I would just tell staff, I don't have any further questions or comments for the study session. Maybe other board members do, but in the event that we all don't, is there anything else you want to say during this study session?
Not me.
Mr. Castro, do we have any upcoming cases?
Mr. Chair and members of the board, we don't have any cases scheduled for January. If we do get any cases, they would be scheduled for the next public hearing, which would be February 23rd, 2022. But at this time, we don't have any cases for January.
With that in mind, and with the idea that and I do want to take a moment here to acknowledge the work that's been done by Mr. Alan Huerta. Today will be his last meeting as a member of the Board of Adjustment. He has served on the board for a number of years consistently, providing a great service to our community, and we want to thank Alan for his involvement, participation, careful consideration on all cases. And Alan, we'd like to give a special presentation to you at an upcoming meeting, if you would be so kind as to return for a presentation that we have for you. We also, keeping that in mind, if we do have other new members appointed between now and the January hearing, and if we have sufficient time to notify it, I would really like for us to schedule our annual training if possible. If not, we will do that in February. I don't have anything further for this hearing. Alan, do you have anything you would like to say? I'm putting you on the spot. It's okay if you don't want to.
I guess not.
Okay, well, I guess that concludes study session. I think probably the simplest thing to do would just to be to turn off your mics and your cameras, and then at 1:30 turn them back on. And if everyone would be mindful of the time and be prompt. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.